Happening now where you live. First, the government shutdown, day 32. How the Hoopa tribe is feeling the effects.
How many people would you say are working without pay right now?
Talking to those impacted and looking into what's being done about it. And the awful traffic accident.
I can't tell you that the coroner is on scene.
Highway 101 shut down for over an hour this morning.
A lot of delays.
Traffic backed up for miles as many were heading to work.
There's no telling how many times this person might have been hit.
We're digging deeper into the developments on that notorious stretch of highway. Plus,
we're not really changing the way we look for employees.
The innovative way Eureka is connecting the jobless with jobs and how it could impact the local economy. North Coast News on ABC 23 at 11 starts right now.
Live from our studio in downtown Eureka, you're watching North Coast News on KAEF ABC 23 at 11. Severe weather first.
I think there's anxiety. I think there's anxiety.
The government shutdown now on day 32 and putting strain on hundreds of Native American tribes nationwide.
And right here on the North Coast, it's no different. The Hoopa Valley tribe says they continue to offer regular services, but they're having to do it using backup funds.
That's right, Nazy. Today I met with Tribal Chairman Ryan Jackson to hear the tribe's concerns coming out of Hoopa as that shutdown drags on.
It's kind of pathetic what's happening, frankly. But it's what it is.
The partial government shutdown continues into its 5th week. And for the 573 tribal entities recognized under the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the impacts are getting harder to deal with.
And for too long, it's been that the federal government United States hasn't lived up to their obligations. And this is another indication of where sort of Indian tribes fit in the overall spectrum as it relates to their government and the way that they manage the programs. It's unfortunate, but again, it's not something where...
Hoopa Valley Tribal Chairman Ryan Jackson says luckily they have reserve funds to support services like the hospital and police department, services that he says are partially funded through the federal government. But the threat of furloughs loom over the tribe.
It's anxiety. People don't necessarily want to lose their jobs, and I don't really want to be in a position either to say, hey, here's a pink slip for a period of time till the federal government gets their act together.
The President of the United States!
As soon as February 4th hits, President Trump's budget proposal is due.
At that time, the council is going to have to decide whether or not we're going to go to a furlough. My hope is that we don't. We'd have to just weather the storm until additional funding was to come down the pipeline.
A storm that Jackson hopes they can sustain.
The tribe looks out for its membership.
And he says because of the history they've had in the past with the federal government.
Indian tribes sign treaties with the federal government, and there are obligations that the federal government has to fulfill as a result of ceding of land and signing of those documents.
And they're not the only tribe affected. Fallout from the federal government shutdown is hurting Native Americans nationwide as dwindling funds hamper access to health care and other services. New at 11, is it the beginning of the end? Right now, there's legislation being pushed in both the House and Senate this week to possibly end that government shutdown.
But that means two of the most powerful people in those discussions have to come to terms. Who will blink first and give in? Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman brings us up to speed from Washington.
What do we want? Hey!
Federal employees fed up and looking to Washington to end the stalemate.
Do something about it. The people are tired of it.
They owe us. They need to get to the office. They need to do their job.
We voted them in there, so hopefully they can learn a compromise.
They, most mentioned, are House Speaker Pelosi and Majority Leader McConnell. It's a relationship that's been scrutinized for years and often described as anything but friendly, something that stymies hopes for a deal, though there is some movement this week.
I think there's increasing pressure to actually negotiate.
I hope they're not dug in. I hope both sides are not dug in.
I don't think we're ever going to open the government unless we're talking to each other.
Pelosi has promised there won't be a dollar for the border wall. She's proposing votes on up to 6 spending bills this week to reopen the government. He's pushing the president's plan, $5.7 billion for the border in exchange for more protections for 1 million immigrants already here. But even passing McConnell's bill through a Republican Senate would be a feat. He'd need 7 Democrats to join that effort, and there's no indication yet that's likely.
He's bringing the president's starting point, and I think it has no chance of passing. And again, we need to open up the federal government today, and then we can proceed with robust negotiations.
So who, if anyone, would give in first? A presidential tweet Tuesday urged Republicans not to cave. Whether or not they listen or if both sides meet in the middle, that's
yet to be determined.
In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
New at 11, President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi remain at odds over the State of the Union address. The White House says it's moving ahead with plans for President Trump to deliver his address at the Capitol next week, even though Pelosi hasn't given that green light yet. She appears firm in her request that Trump postpone the speech until the government reopens. Trump will not be able to deliver his address before a joint session of Congress unless the House and Senate pass resolutions convening the session.
New at 11, the Transportation Security Administration is asking for 250 workers to volunteer to fill in at other airports. An internal email sent to TSA officials in 10 states asks for workers after 10% of the agency's officials called out from work Sunday. This marks the second time the TSA has asked for help in as many weeks as the shutdown continues and TSA officers prepare to miss a second paycheck. Officials fear sick-out calls will increase just as the world's busiest airport in Atlanta is preparing for an influx of travelers for next Sunday's Super Bowl. New at 11, the fallout continues from last week's incident involving students from a Catholic high school in Kentucky and a Native American elder in Washington.
Now the student in the center of that controversy is breaking his silence. Miguel Marquez reports.
Nick Sandman, the high school junior from Kentucky's Covington Catholic High School, speaking out.
As far as standing there, I had every right to do so. My position is that I was not disrespectful to Mr. Phillips.
The video of Sandman facing off with the Omaha tribal elder Nathan Phillips ignited anger nationwide.
I'd like to talk to him. I mean, in hindsight, I wish we could have walked away and avoided the whole thing.
Today, the Catholic high school abruptly closed. In a statement, the Covington Diocese says it was due to threats of violence and the possibility of large crowds.
Through this incident here, dear God, our peoples can come together.
No protest today, but a vigil held at the Covington Diocese, attending Trump supporters and Native Americans along with other progressive groups. There was even a moment of unity.
We're in big trouble.
I know. I agree.
And I mean, the people need to take back this country.
Amen. Amen.
And, you know,
and we'll work together to do it.
Nathan Phillips, the Omaha tribal elder, says when the incident happened, he was trying to diffuse tensions between the students and a group of Hebrew Israelites who taunted both students and Native Americans for over an hour before the controversial standoff made international headlines. He's now offered to travel to Kentucky to meet with the students to discuss cultural diversity.
When I started taking those steps and using the drum, it was just spur of the moment. I don't like to say it that way, but it was just, what do you do now? Here's a moment where something that's really ugly in our society, in America, something that's just kind of come to a boiling point.
The Diocese of Covington, administering the all-boys high school, says in a statement, a third-party investigation is planned to begin this week. This is a very serious matter that has already permanently altered the lives of many people. It is important for us to gather the facts that will allow us to determine what corrective actions, if any, are appropriate. The incident has shaken this suburb just south of Cincinnati.
Nationally, it's huge, but, you know, it's kind of surprising all the friends I have from all around the country that are messaging me about it and asking questions about it.
Meanwhile, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the White House has reached out to the Covington Catholic students who attended that march.
Sanders says if the students come to the White House at President Trump's invitation, any visit will take place once the partial government shutdown ends. New at 11, PG&E secured up to $5.5 billion so it can continue operating as it gets ready to file bankruptcy. That money coming from major bankers. This after the deadly wildfires in the state that have caused PG&E stock to lose more than 80% of its value and its credit rating slashed to junk status. The utility saying it could have run out of money if it had not secured the new financing. Under the proposal, new creditors would be given a high priority for repayment in bankruptcy proceedings.
And new at 11, with PG&E reportedly getting ready to go bankrupt, some are asking lawmakers to step in and save that utility. When speaking in Sacramento earlier today, consumer activist Erin Brockovich urging state lawmakers not to let PG&E go bankrupt. She says it would result in less money for the wildfire victims. Brockovich also calling on lawmakers to adopt better oversight of PG&E.
As you might be aware, PG&E and I have bumped into each other numerous times over the course of the past 28 years. We should all be beyond frustrated. Every one of us should be good and mad. And it is time for the state to get to work. They need to show us their true leadership in holding this company accountable and making these communities whole again.
The utility plans to file for bankruptcy later this month, but experts say a bankruptcy would likely mean that wildfire victims who have sued PG&E won't be fully paid.
Highway 101 shut down for over an hour this morning. Traffic backed up for miles as many were heading to work.
Coming up on North Coast News, the deadly accident and those developing details on that notorious stretch of highway.
And the average American will spend around 13 years of their lives where? At work. But do you enjoy what you do for a living? We're looking at the stats.
Plus, take a look at that moon, folks. A lovely sight over the North Coast tonight. And tomorrow is Hump Day. So what can we expect for the rest of our work week? First Alert meteorologist Rob Ellington. We'll have more coming up in less than 2 minutes. The time is 11:11. I'm Dylan Brown.
I'm Nazy Javid. This is North Coast News.
You're watching North Coast News on KAEF ABC 23.
This January at the Heights, make it a double and win your share of over $20,000 every Friday and Saturday from 8 to 10 p.m. The first winner gets $1,000 in cash, but if they're not present to win, the pot grows each hour till it reaches $2,000 in cash. Plus, don't miss our Make It a Double bonus night drawings on Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. with drawings every 15 minutes. More entertainment, more fun, more winning. Visit SherryHeights.com for all the details. 5 minutes off the 101 in beautiful Trinidad.
Are you pouring money down the drain?
Well, I just got my wireless bill.
You can switch for free to U.S. Cellular.
Really?
And get a free phone when you switch.
Free phone? Huh.
Plus, get paid back for data you don't use with the Unlimited with Payback plan.
No way. All that money wasted at the wrong provider.
Right now at U.S. Cellular, there's no trade-in required to get a free Samsung Galaxy S9. Just switch to U.S. Cellular.
Northern Redwood Federal Credit Union. We're the same great credit union, now with a fresh new look. We've been here since 1955. We know our members on a first-name basis. We're warm and friendly. We go together like PB&J, like hot cocoa and marshmallows, or mashed potatoes and gravy, Humboldt and the crabs, or coins and a piggy bank. You know what I'm trying to say. We're a boutique credit union, all about personal service. Northern Redwood. Aren't you glad you're a member? Not a member yet? Make the switch. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram.
Tonight, tune in to Kimmel.
Are you doing it?
You gotta, because from ABC's The Rookie, Nathan Fillion's here.
On TV, I solve crimes, but tonight, I'm gonna steal your heart.
Plus, food journalist Mark Bittman and music from Black. Kimmel, new tonight on ABC.
North Coast News. Severe weather first.
Good evening. Welcome back. The story heading through the next 5 to 7 days will be a pretty strong ridge of high pressure that'll be parked over the west coast, and it's still just starting to build in. We still have a ways to go heading through the next 2 to 3 days as it really amplifies and moves all the way up to Canada. And what you'll notice right now, we're seeing quite a bit of cloud activity rotating over the top, clockwise over the top of this ridge of high pressure. So we actually have some of these embedded systems that are riding that ridge and moving into the Pacific Northwest. And we'll actually have a weak system that'll clip us tomorrow. And that's why you'll notice that we do have a little bit of precipitation in the forecast for the next 7 days. And just about all of the green that you see on this map, it's for tomorrow with a weak system coming in. Best chances by far of seeing any showers will be off to the north in northern Humboldt County and into Del Norte County, and of course as you head up in southwestern Oregon. How about the week 2 precipitation outlook? Not a whole lot of rain over the next 7 days, but you'll notice the week 2 outlook. So this is day 8 all the way through day 14. You'll notice that we do have some greens on the map, and that's probability-based forecast. This is not actual precipitation forecast for totals. It's just a probability. So you'll notice that we have the highest probabilities of being wetter than normal compared to near normal and drier than normal. So maybe moving back into a wetter pattern in about 10 days or so. There's a look at the satellite and radar. Just seeing some clouds streaming in from out the northwest and west this evening. But again, we do have a weak system that will bring some showers to parts of the north coast by tomorrow morning all the way through the evening hours. So you'll notice by about 8:30 tomorrow morning, some sprinkles and light showers near Crescent City, but getting some sunshine the closer you head to Cape Mendocino for your Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, still seeing some light showers and sprinkles, even into Siskiyou County. And that will continue through the afternoon hours and into the evening. And then you'll notice by Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, we're expecting clearing skies with some sunshine. So again, tomorrow, just about the only precipitation we're expecting over the next 7 days. Marine forecast for tomorrow, northeast winds at 5 knots, waves out of the west at 9 feet at a period of 16 seconds. We have a small craft advisory in place. And you'll notice that we're still seeing some pretty high astronomical tides. We had that full moon just going back 2 days ago, so still seeing some effects from that. And look at the sustained winds. This is right around 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You'll notice that we're seeing those winds from out of the north and northwest for most of the inland. Stronger winds closer to Cape Mendocino and off to the south. And look at the upper levels of the atmosphere. You'll notice from tonight through the next few days, we're starting to see that ridge of high pressure build in. You'll notice how that ridge amplifies, it strengthens as it builds into the west coast, all the way up into Canada. So that's going to keep the entire west coast pretty quiet, finishing off this work week. Your forecast for tomorrow, right around the upper 50s to low 60s for a good chunk of the inland, and even parts of the coast. You'll notice closer to Eureka, 56, a little bit cooler for Crescent City, along with that chance of showers. But for the rest of the coast, if you head off to the south, not expecting much in the way of cloud cover or even precipitation, and you'll notice again dry all the way through next Tuesday. For the inland, highs right around the low 60s tomorrow, but look at Thursday all the way into this upcoming weekend, expecting highs closer to the mid-60s.
You're watching North Coast News on KAEF ABC 23. We know you don't have time to waste.
7 a.m. in the southbound lanes, we have a traffic alert for drivers in Reading at this hour.
So weekday mornings, watch Daybreak.
Showers, maybe some isolated thunderstorms. A little bit cooler for the coast today, only reaching the mid to upper 50s.
And discover what's happening in your world today.
CAL FIRE responded to this fire, Kelly, at 5:41 this morning. They said that the daughter...
Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm Kelly Som.
Daybreak, every morning on KAEF Channel 23.
Performance is your profession, but you strive to take the next step in your career. GCU's PhD in Performance Psychology gives you the tools you need to elevate your performance to the next level.
Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
When scent is carried through mist, it stays with us. Airwick Essential Mist transforms essential oils into mist to surround us with a fragrance we love. Airwick Essential Mist.
5 steps for perfect winter skin.
5 steps? My skin gets so dry and itchy, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keefe's Skin Repair. It's 48-hour moisture in one use and guaranteed relief for dry, itchy skin. Thanks to O'Keefe's, I got my skin back.
It's dinner time in America, and families are gathering around the table. Thanks to Reynolds Wrap, dinner preparation is perfect, and everyone knows to be mindful of their manners.
Dinner time has changed. Our quality hasn't. Reynolds Wrap, foil made in the USA since 1947.
Whether you were born for more dance-offs, more travels, or more touchdowns, get the immune support that gives you more. Airborne gummies have 50% more vitamin C than Emergency, plus our crafted blend of vitamins, minerals, and herbs. Airborne.
When my occasional constipation is under control, I can get back to what really matters.
Dulcolax provides dependable, effective relief. Choose stimulant-free Dulcolax stool softener for gentle, comfortable relief. Dulcolax puts you comfortably in control.
Live from our studio in downtown Eureka, you're watching North Coast News on KAEF ABC 23. At 11, severe weather first.
So the backup here extends past Humboldt Hill.
A sad and scary situation today. A man hit multiple times by multiple cars out near Humboldt Hill. We have new details on that horrific, deadly crash on Highway 101.
The CHP telling us a 31-year-old man merging into northbound traffic from the Humboldt Hill on-ramp looks over his shoulder to check for traffic, and when he looks back, the unimaginable happens.
Investigators say a man then suddenly appears in the lane in front of him. The CHP saying the driver, unable to avoid the crash, hitting that man in the roadway with his truck. and then it gets worse. Several more cars end up hitting that man who was now lying in the roadway.
Our own Scott Rates was there this morning and has a look from the scene that had traffic backed up for miles and hours.
All the activity happening right up over there, and that's all I'm going to show you of this, and try to be respectful. As the CHP has confirmed, one person has died. I can tell you that the coroner is on scene. Traffic stopped, blocked at 101. People forced off at the Humboldt Hill exit. They're not moving very fast, though, back there, if you saw the beginning of the report, because there's nowhere to go, really, on Humboldt Hill.
Pulled on the highway and boom.
Wow. Did you see anything?
No.
Oh, lucky. Good.
Yeah, I should have been 5 minutes earlier.
Wow. And
I would have been right in the middle of it, probably.
It's got to be tough for all the drivers of the cars that are involved that are pulled over. You never want to see an accident like that. But such a dangerous stretch of highway, too, like we keep talking about. You know, you've covered so many things like this, and it's never easy. And it's always good to respect. Just be respectful, right? And not show some things, because there's no need for it.
The CHP says they're confirming the identity of that man who was killed. They're not releasing his name until they notify the family. The crash, though, still under investigation.
Now to Mendocino County, to that hit and run that killed a bicyclist near Covelo. The sheriff's office saying no one is in custody for that crime. Round Valley police say around 6 last night, an officer was driving down Mendocino Pass Road, finding a mangled bike on the side of the road. The officer, looking closer, finding the body of a man lying nearby. Deputies say they believe the man was hit by a car that then left the scene. The suspected driver, believed to have headed east on Mendocino Pass Road. The Mendocino County Sheriff's Office is hoping anyone with information will let them know. A crash at Boone and J Streets in Eureka, leaving one person injured. The crash happening just before 9 tonight. In Eureka, that was the scene at Boone and J Streets. Eureka Police and Humboldt Bay Fire responding after officials say 2 cars collided at the intersection. That white CRV landing on its side, you'll see it here in just a moment. The other vehicle, a black Honda. The road blocked off for at least a half hour for a flatbed to come in and get that vehicle that rolled over. Now, we spoke to the sergeant on scene.
At least one occupant is going to hospital with appears to be minor injuries at this time. The other occupant self-extricated from the vehicle and is declining medical attention.
Police say the driver of the black Honda didn't stop properly at the stop sign, getting hit by another driver that then spun out. The crash is under investigation tonight, but officials say DUI was not a factor.
Still ahead on North Coast News, job hunting can be quite tough. Well, we found a new local program that's helping businesses and those seeking employment find their perfect match. That story is coming up. Stay right there.
You're watching North Coast News on KAEF ABC 23.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing. And it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Post Taste in Arcata is your one-stop shop for all your shipping and business services needs. It's the convenient location for live scan fingerprinting, notary, and passport photos. Receive all of your mail and packages safely with a private mailbox. Post Haste specializes in packing high-value art and collectibles and provides shipping through FedEx, the U.S. Postal Service, and freight. Printing services are always expanding. Whether you need menus, flyers, or brochures, Post Haste is the place. Your local shipping solution, Post Haste in Arcata.
Over 100 years ago, we were talking about the Model T. Now here we are, talking about winning the most J.D. Power IQS and Appeal Awards. Talking about driver assist technology. Talking about the highest customer loyalty in the country. But that's enough talking. Seriously, that was a lot of talking. Back to building.
Now get a 2018 Escape or Explorer with 0% financing plus $1,500 bonus cash. Or get $5,000 total cash on Explorer.
The more time we spend engaging with these, the less time we spend engaging with them. And their chances of dropping out of school and getting into trouble increase. Now is the time to connect, to build their brains and their futures. So talk, read, and sing with them from the moment they're born. It changes everything. Learn more at first5california.com.
Weekdays on ABC 23.
It's an innovative program pushing the boundaries on how the jobless look for jobs and how employers find staff.
Our own Andy Krause showing us what separates the Arcata Economic Development Corporation's new project called Workforce Weekend from the traditional ways the unemployed apply for work.
I call it kind of cross between a dating site and a job fair. You're really finding out about the jobs, but it's in a very matching kind of way.
Workforce Weekend is a new program trying to break away from the problems that come with the traditional form of job hunting and hiring.
When you ask for an application, you say, what skills do you have, what education do you have, what experience do you have, and they don't talk to people who don't have the things that they need.
That's why job applications provided through Workforce Weekend take a much different approach.
It doesn't ask any questions about skills. It's all about kind of your work personality. So how do you prefer to spend your day? Working with customers, working on a computer, spending time in meetings. What's your favorite form of communication? Do you like to use the telephone? Do you like to use email? Do you prefer face-to-face?
Research done on both sides of the hiring process by the Workforce Development Board and the HSU Business Department helped Seaman create and develop the program. But there was one thing they heard over and over from employers that shaped its foundation.
If we just had the right employee, we could teach them the skills.
Seaman hopes Workforce Weekend will also strengthen the local economy while also revealing more opportunities to those who didn't know they existed here in Humboldt County.
I think this is a total experiment. I don't think anybody has done anything like this before. My hope is that this becomes a tool for people to be able to do stronger networking. Maybe it'll keep somebody here working at a barista job for another year because they recognize there's other opportunity in a career field.
Reporting in Humboldt County, Andy Krause, North Coast News.
March 1st and 2nd are the dates where employers will hold job interviews for potential workers who apply through Workforce Weekend. You can visit workforceweekend.com to apply for an interview or add your business to the directory. Many Americans believe they will be looking for a new job in 2019.
That's right, Nazy, but the question is, do you actually enjoy the work you do? Circa's Dincy Koftasi has the story.
The average American will spend around 13 years of their lives at work, which is why it's so important for someone's overall happiness to actually enjoy what they do for a living.
35%, a little more than 1 out of 3 workers say, yeah, they love their job. They're just excited. They can't imagine doing anything else. Then you got another 45% who say, I derive some satisfaction. And then there's 20% who say it is just a means to the end. You got to pay some bills.
While there has been some progress in closing the gender pay gap, women still make about 76 cents for every dollar a man does.
Men tend to be a little bit more pleased with their job than women. The happiest group with their job, people over 65. And that's partly because if you really aren't happy with your job at that point, you say forget it.
Thanks to the internet and social media, there are more ways to make money now than ever before. It can seem like there's so many options and possibilities that for some people, especially younger generations, finding contentment at work can be hard.
There was this idea that people tried to promote a long time ago that, you find a job right out of school and you stay there for life. Most workers, a majority of workers, say that probably sometime during this year they're at least going to look somewhere else for a job. And a large number expect, yeah, I'm probably going to change.
For Circa, I'm Denise Koftasi.
We'll be right back.
You're watching North Coast News on KAEF ABC 23.
Hey there, I'm Kelly Pickler.
And I'm Ben Aaron.
Ben, he's all about being silly.
The better dancer is...
If they have eyeballs, it's me.
You. Kelly's fearless. She will do anything.
I haven't bugged him enough.
Summing up this show in one word.
Whoa. Is that a word? Watch, Pickler. Ben. Anybody know a good co-host?
Weekdays on ABC 23.
Life could be a dream if I could take you up to paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again, Shaboo Mama, we will meet again. Life could be.
There's still time to make every drive a dream during NorCal Honda Dealer's Dream Commute sales event. But the dream ends soon. See your NorCal Honda dealer today.
Tri-Counties Bank presents a unique brand of service with solutions, a welcoming and listening style of banking with solutions that help improve your financial well-being. With easy access to over 25,000 surcharge-free ATMs, advanced mobile banking, banker support by phone 7 days a week, and an extensive community-based branch network, you're never far from a friendly face. It's easy to switch to better banking. Tri-Counties Bank, service with solutions.
Everything matters as we age. And when it comes to cremation, care of loved ones is what matters to family. An important benefit is to make certain there is an on-site crematory. Ayers is the only funeral home in Humboldt County with an on-site crematory. Ayers understands the importance. It's why Humboldt County residents choose Ayers. Call the local cremation professionals. Trust Ayers' decades of experience. In Eureka, on the web, and on Facebook.
Watch Pickler and Ben.
Weekdays on ABC 23.
From the Terrorism Alert Desk in Washington, I'm Nancy Chin. An Iraqi scientist telling the Washington Post he helped ISIS make chemical weapons. The scientist says he organized a supply chain for ISIS's production of sulfur mustard, a chemical warfare agent that killed tens of thousands of soldiers during World War I. At least 45 are now confirmed dead following the Taliban's attack on a military base in Afghanistan, but there are fears the death toll is even higher. The suicide bomber and the gunman who stormed the base after that blast all died. And a terrorism trial is underway in Denmark. A 31-year-old Syrian man is charged with planning to explode one or more bombs in Copenhagen and then stabbing random people with knives. From the Terrorism Alert Desk in Washington, I'm Nancy Chen.
You're watching North Coast News on KAEF ABC 23.
Off the beaten path.
The key to travel is flexibility, because things change.
In the proper frame of mind.
That was my last tourist. Oh, really?
For all the right reasons. Do it for yourself and for someone else.
Sonrisa, smile.
Respectful.
I'm not going to start eating
thoughtful.
goat. When food is offered, you really need to eat
authentic. Raw. Raw travel
on ABC 23.
The days are getting shorter and colder. Thanksgiving's coming, then Christmas. It's that time of the year when roads get harder to drive and it takes longer to get places. It's the perfect time to stop in at Oil Stop and let our happy, well-trained staff keep your vehicle in top shape so you don't have to worry about going out in the rain to shop. We'll even check everything before you leave our store with 2 sets of eyes to make certain you're safe to go. At Oil Stop, we've got your back.
We're Oil Stop in Eureka at 1109 Broadway. Stop by and see us sometime.
This January at the Heights, make it a double and win your share of over $20,000 every Friday and Saturday from 8 to 10 p.m. The first winner gets $1,000 in cash, but if they're not present to win, the pot grows each hour till it reaches $2,000 in cash. Plus, don't miss our Make It a Double bonus night drawings on Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. with drawings every 15 minutes. More entertainment, more fun, more winning. Visit SherryHeights.com for all the details. 5 minutes off the 101 in beautiful Trinidad.
You could win an Aussie adventure plus tickets to the 2020 Australian Open with Tennis Channel's Australian Open sweepstakes. To enter and for complete contest rules, go to krcrtv.com and click the station tab.
Tonight, tune in to Kimmel.
Are you doing it?
You gotta, because from ABC's The Rookie, Nathan Fillion's here.
On TV, I solve crimes, but tonight, I'm gonna steal your heart.
Plus food journalist Mark Bittman and music from Black. Kimmel, new tonight on ABC.
North Coast News, severe weather first.
Well, tiny houses are pretty popular in California. That practice gaining popularity as a way to help alleviate homelessness.
Yes, and get this. 7 welding students from the College of the Redwoods are working on a fully mobile tiny house using funds from local businesses and the college's Measure C bond.
It's a good group of students. Those guys will meet once a week throughout the semester in hopes of completing a fully road-ready trailer that's able to sustain and transport that tiny house.
Yeah, once the final touches are done, the tiny house will be up for sale to the community.
That's a good thing. Nazy, would you buy that house?
I would. I'm a tiny person. I need a tiny house. I'm tired of my big house. I have to clean all the time. Boo.
I'm with you. I would buy it too. It seems awesome.
I wonder how much they cost.
Ooh, we have to go on Google to find that out.
All right, we'll just ask CR. Thanks for being here with us. We really appreciate it. Jimmy Kimmel Live is next. We'll see you tomorrow.
North Coast, we appreciate you.